What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about how to get rich by not buying stuff. Alright guys, a lot of people in my sphere of influence know me as being, you might say, frugal or just incredibly cheap because I don't spend my money on a lot of things. I wear shoes and clothes until they're pretty much worn out. I've never owned a new vehicle in my life, and the ones that I have the one has almost 200,000 miles, the other has 150,000 miles. And the reason is because I just don't like to spend money on things unless I really want whatever it is or need whatever it is that I want to spend the money on. My reason is this. I learned something a long time ago or heard something, and it goes like this. You don't get rich by writing a bunch of checks. And that is something to live by, especially if the checks that you're writing aren't for appreciating assets or income producing assets or something of that nature. If you're just writing checks to purchase goods and services just, for consumption, that money is gone, and it's not going to be working for you to increase your amount of money, your wealth, your cash flow, whatever, over the course of time. And that is what people who end up amassing a lot of money do, is they don't get rich by writing a bunch of checks. They save and invest their money and turn that into cash flows that they can use later on to write big checks for big fun items. What I'm talking about is, have you ever looked at your bank account or whatever and just looked at it and said, where the heck did all my money go? And you have no idea where it went. Because it's really easy to identify if you make a large purchase. If you buy, new furniture, or your TV goes out and you buy a new one and it's $600 to $1,200 or whatever. That's very easy to identify. The ones that get you are just the $5 to $20 purchases that you make without even thinking about it. And those add up over time. $5 $20 purchases is $100, and that you can do that easily in a day. And those are the things that you really need to keep your eye on. One of the ones, and it's very cliche, it's very commonly spoken about, but it's a real thing. It's a Starbucks coffee. If that is your morning routine every day, is to go get a Starbucks coffee on the way to work. Where I am in the greater Cincinnati area, that's a $5 coffee. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to go out and treat myself to that, like if I'm on vacation or if I'm out on a date with my wife or whatever, I'll say, hey, you want to go get $5 coffees? And because that's what it costs. So if you do that for 5 days a week at $5 a pop, you're going to end up spending about $1,300 a year on coffee that you can make either at home, or a lot of offices even provide coffee for free, or it's included in your employment. So even if you don't go to Starbucks every day, that $5 amount could represent anything that you do. It could be the trip to the vending machine. It could be for, I don't know, going out to eat for lunch. It could be for anything that you would spend $5 in a day for. But it's just really easy to pick on Starbucks coffee because it's really expensive for coffee. It's really good though. So at the end of the year, you spent about $1,300 just indiscriminately on coffee or snacks at the snack machine or whatever. And so if you would have taken that money and you would have invested it in a stock market account, specifically the thing that I use is the S&P, and you got the average return, since average returns have been written down, which is about from either 12 or 13, at 9.9% has been the average rate of return of dividends and the increase in value of that market. And if you compounded that over a course of 40 years, which is some people's average career lengths, where they're actually making money and able to invest it, although we are just talking about $5 a day here, you would end up with a sum at the end of 40 years of $615,384.48. That is the long-term cost of that $5 a day, only on the weekdays, expenditure. And that is really where these little $5 to $20 expenses add up. Because if you add those up over time, compounded in an investment vehicle, you get just these massive sums of money from such small portions of input that you hardly even think about on a day-to-day basis. And so that's just your typical everyday, $5 to $20 expense that people spend money on without even thinking about it. Then there's so many other things that you spend money on just repetitively that adds up to significant amounts of money over time. For example, if you buy a new smartphone every year, just because a new one comes out, that's going to add up to an extremely large amount of money. If you have multiple streaming plans or subscriptions to different things, that ends up being a large amount of money. And I'll just throw this in here. If you subscribe to this channel, it costs no dollars and helps me out. And if you don't mind hitting the like button too, that would be awesome as well. But other subscriptions, such as having multiple music streaming accounts, having Hulu, Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO, all these, they add up to just a significant amount of money every year that could end up being a gigantic sum of money right when you may be ready to retire. Same thing with new shoes, purses, wallets, clothes, whatever that you don't need. Obviously, good shoes, good purse, good wallet, whatever, get one of those. And then use it till it wears out. Just getting things just because isn't necessarily the best use of your money. Also, all the smartwatches, gadgets, just bullcrap that really adds nothing to your life and adds nothing to your experiences. They wear out your money, and then at the end of the month you're like, I'm broke. I have no idea why, because your bank account is just a stream of $20 purchases that you didn't even think about. Now, am I saying don't live your life and don't have fun? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying make a conscious decision to what you're spending your money on, so that you don't $5, $10, $20 yourself to death and have nothing saved up when you're ready to quit the workforce, and have nothing at the end of the month and be a slave to your job for life, is what I'm saying. I do buy new phones about every 3 to 4 years. I get a Starbucks coffee every now and then. I even like to shoot off fireworks and such like that. So occasionally I'll buy those things, which is literally burning money. However, I make a conscious decision to do that, and it's not just picking things up like, ooh, look at that thing over there. Let's just buy that thing. Guys, it's been super to talk to you about money today. If you like this type of stuff, like and subscribe, leave me a comment, and remember that you don't get rich by writing a bunch of checks. See you next time.